Hey, what's up guys? It's been a while since we've done a video, and this one is going to be on the Demon's Souls remake for the PS5. I had finally gotten my hands on a PS5, and I've been wanting to play this game for a long time, as I had never played the original. So this is going to be my take and my thoughts on it from someone who's never played the original game. Perhaps maybe sometime down the future I will be able to, but as of right now, I do not have a PS3. Yeah, so Demon's Souls, for me, was basically my Dark Souls 4, in a sense. Next generation graphics, animations, everything like that. After 3, it looks phenomenal. It is the best looking Souls game visually there is, period. Across all of them, in terms of just raw graphics capability and animations and all of that. And it might be maybe my second favorite in terms of just aesthetic and all of that kind of thing. Bloodborne still is my favorite game of all time. But this game definitely has an atmosphere and a feeling about it that I really, really like. It is definitely one of the darker Souls games. I have heard a lot of people talk about that the game lost a lot of its atmosphere because of how good the graphics are. That it no longer feels as dark. As mysterious, maybe as much, maybe a feeling of dread that you might have felt otherwise. But now because the graphics are just so good, you can see everything so clearly that maybe that kind of actually takes away a little bit. But for me, I had no problem. The game was incredibly immersive. The graphics, bar none, are the best I've seen. So I want to talk more about the game, the gameplay and all that stuff, graphics and all that stuff aside. World building is one of the most important things to me in these types of games, and it's a big reason why Dark Souls 1, outside of Bloodborne, because that's not technically a Souls game, right? It doesn't have Souls in the title, is my favorite of Dark Souls 1 through 3. The world layout and the building of that game is phenomenal. It is the best. Demon's Souls is pretty good. Demon's Souls is pretty good, I will say. I really love the system of there being like an actual hub, and then you go to a location and then you go back. You go to a location, you go back. This reminds me more of some older style games, which makes sense. Demon's Souls is older, right? 2009, I believe. And I really like that. All 5 of the major areas are very unique. You have Boletaria, which is the more medieval castle-y area. You have Stonefang, which is more of the mines, a lot of mountainous and underground mining areas. Then you have Latria, which was the prison, the high tower, supposed to be, very, very dark. But and you have the swampy area there as well, kind of at the bottom. Then you have, what's World 4 called? I don't know. The area with the flying mantas, the storm area. Incredible. That might be, for me, visually the coolest looking area. It was awesome, dude. Super, especially the fight against the Storm King. Superb. And then yeah, World 5 is totally different because that's like the swamp. That's Blighttown of this game, right? It's super cool. That they're all so different. And one of the things I wanted to talk about too, right, is, okay, so having played every Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, many Souls-like games as well by other companies, in terms of a difficulty standpoint, this probably is the easiest Souls game for me, because it's the most recent. I've played all the other ones. The bosses, though, I will say, there's a lot more variety and differences in how you beat a lot of the bosses. The majority of the bosses, sure, are just straight up fight the boss, kill the boss. But there's a lot more boss fights that are, you have to think about. Or it's not just a straight, skill check, like a lot of the fights are in a lot of the other games. I mean, you have Dragon God, a lot of people complain about the fight, but I kind of like that there is a big fight like that, because there's no way you would have been able to beat this guy one-on-one, right? The way that they designed the fight makes a lot of sense. Or the Storm King fight. You have to use a special weapon to be able to beat this thing. And without that weapon, you don't stand a chance. Then there's like Tower Knight. You have to, take down his legs so then he falls down, so then you can actually hurt the guy. So in the Adjudicator, I mean, there's a couple ways you can get around fighting him. I just like that these fights are they're all much more unique. As you get kind of further down the Souls games, they get a little more redundant. Sure, they find different ways to make them challenging, but they're all kind of the same thing. I really liked that even though, well, like I said, they're easier, they're more unique. And I really like that. Purpose of the game. So I had heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard that the original game didn't have a big opening, like the remake does, of like explaining a little bit of the history of why everything is the way it is. But I liked that because I felt like my character actually had a purpose in this game. I was the last person coming into Boletaria to try to basically save the world, to stop the demons, and all of that kind of thing. And I was collecting the demon souls to get stronger and stop the old one, put him back to slumber, all that, etc. I had a purpose. In some of the Souls games, when I first played them, I'm like, what am I even doing? I mean, I'm having a blast, but I don't know what I'm really doing. You know what I mean? And I know that's part of the charm of the games, too, is that you really don't know what you're doing. You figure it out along the way based on the clues that are presented to you. So I can understand why some people may prefer the more like Dark Souls 1 tactic, right? You don't, versus what Demon Souls has. But I like it. The music. I'm gonna combine music and sound design kind of together because you kind of can't talk about one without the other. I mean, you can, but try to save a little time. It's amazing. It's so good. It's probably the best in every Souls game. It might be the best music now. So again, you got to keep in mind this is coming from somebody who never played the original. I know a lot of people that have played the original have been saying they actually dislike a lot of the added and changed music to the game because it's not the original music or an updated version of the same music. I don't know how true that is, or maybe these people are just remembering things wrongly, but I thought it was very fitting, and I loved all of it. And the sound design, man. The first... Okay. No Dark Souls game, aside from Bloodborne, do I like to parry. I'm not a parrying person. I rather just dodge and just roll around. The roly-poly. But, it was... The sound is so good when you pull off a parry in this game. And then, depending on the weapon, too. The first... For me, I started as a knight class. You parry with the sword, you stab him in the gut, pick him up, slam him down. Oh my, is so satisfying. And a large part of that is due to the sound design of how that worked. So, it's incredible, man. Or when you're fighting, you first go fight the Vanguard Demon when you're still in the outpost. Just hearing the flesh slashing versus different monsters, the skeletons, or anything. It's so good. Intriguing, say, plenty of other games do stuff like this too. I'm like, yeah, okay, but, I play a lot of games, and a lot of games that I play that are like this don't do this. Combat. It's like any other Souls game. It's just like any other Souls game. You're still going to have issues with camera. I will say this, and this might be one of the few negatives that I've had with the game, is I feel like the camera's actually worse than a lot of the other Souls games. I don't know if it's because of the way the camera... I had everything on default. So I don't know if it had anything to do with the way sometimes, depending on how I'm moving, the camera would kind of like switch which shoulder I was looking over. It might zoom out more and things like that. But I had a lot of issues where if I was too close to a wall, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't tell if my character was rolling, dodging, left, right. I could not tell. But aside from that, combat is typical Souls. Parry, backstab, dodge, roll, do whatever, put up a shield, sword and board. The typical more slow, methodical combat. I really enjoy that kind of combat, so it was good for me. The user interface, so I heard it was vastly overhauled. I have no idea what the original looked like. What I do know is that this version is clean. I have no problem with it. It works. It's not like, oh my god, this UI is phenomenal. It's the greatest thing ever. Everything needs to fall. It works. Some things, okay, so some more, like, you know, side notes things. Like, those are the main talking points I wanted to cover, but it's the only Souls game that has item encumbrance, item weight. Every Souls game has the weight for your equipment, sure. But this one has your weight for your item carrying weight. That's new. Or old. You know, right? I liked it. I think I actually really liked it. Now that I really started thinking about it, I actually liked the fact that that was there. Because I needed... The more things you take away from the player that make you have to be like, man, do I want to pick this up? Do I want to do this? You're taking away decisions from the player. And some people might be like, well, this is just, you know, it's a cumbersome mechanic that is just wasting time for no reason. I get that. Which is why, you know, obviously no other game has it. After Demon's Souls, they did away with that mechanic. But I personally enjoyed it. I'm the person who enjoys doing corpse runs in EverQuest. You know, so I prefer things being as hardcore as possible. World tendency was a new thing. So I beat the game, and when I beat the game, I had no idea. I thought I knew how it worked, and I actually understood how it worked going negative, but I had no idea how it worked going forward. I completely had it wrong. Once I beat the game, I decided I was going to go ahead and start getting the Platinum Trophy. So I'm currently working on that, actually. I looked up how World Tendency works. I think that's an awesome mechanic. They need to bring this back. This is a mechanic that needs to be brought back into an Elden Ring, please. Bring back some form of World Tendency, or maybe do, because it's supposed to be more open world with a lot more NPCs and stuff from what I remember hearing. Reputations. Factions. Come on, man. Make it happen. But I loved it. I thought it was a phenomenal mechanic. Like an added extra thing. It was so cool. Absolutely so cool. Because it wasn't something that was required to understand to be able to beat the game, but it could have made your game a lot easier if you did. So, yeah, man. This game is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If you have a PS5, you need to play this. Whether you play the original or not, you need to play this game. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching another thoughts video, this time on the Demon's Souls remake on the PS5. Alright, catch you guys next time. Hopefully I'll get getting more videos out. Alright, peace.